Good evening. Tonight, a homicide investigation in Colorado is drawing attention for what prosecutors allege happened and for the broader questions. It raises about repeat domestic violence risk and protective orders. Authorities say Thomas Perales, 38, is accused of killing Annette Valdez, 37, the mother of his children, then moving her body for days before her remains were found in a trash can at a park in Westminster, a northern suburb of Denver. Perales is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in court. Here's what authorities and reporting have outlined so far. Victim Annette Marie Valdez, 37. Defendant Thomas Lee Perales, 38, described as Valdez's former partner and the father of her children. Location: Westminster, Colorado. The body was found at a park area reported as Willowbrook Park. Charges filed by prosecutors: first-degree murder, tampering with a deceased human body, domestic violence as a habitual offender, and 2 counts of violating a protection order. Time window: prosecutors cite for the death between November 28 and December 4, 2025. Cause of death not publicly finalized. Reporting on the autopsy describes neck trauma, with limitations noted due to decomposition. The public turning point comes on December 10, 2025, when prosecutors announce formal charges. They say the evidence supports a first-degree murder count, along with charges tied to domestic violence, alleged violations of a protection order, and alleged tampering with a human body after death. Prosecutors also state they believe Valdez died sometime between November 28 and December 4. But for Valdez's family, the story begins earlier, around the last time anyone says they heard her voice. Friday, November 28. Last contact: investigators say family members reported that Friday, November 28, was the last day Valdez was seen or heard from, in a detail described in reporting on the arrest affidavit. A relative said they were on a call with Valdez and heard a man yelling in the background, while Valdez repeatedly said she was scared. After that call, she stopped responding to messages. In missing person investigations, detectives look closely at what changes: routine, communication, work attendance, and personal belongings. The reported affidavit summary describes relatives saying Valdez's silence was out of character, and that personal items appeared to be left behind in a way that raised alarm. Monday, December 1, the missing person report. By Monday, December 1, police receive a missing person report. That formal report matters because it allows investigators to intensify the search and begin documenting a timeline that can later be tested in court: who last had contact, where the person was last known to be, and what evidence supports those points. Reporting on the affidavit describes police attempting to contact Perales through multiple phone numbers associated with him, with attempts not connecting. Investigators also begin reviewing prior calls for service and prior incidents that might inform risk, particularly in a case prosecutors later file as domestic-violence-related. Monday, November 25, video and a key device. The timeline also includes an earlier date emphasized in reporting on the affidavit: November 25. Investigators say surveillance video captured Perales removing a Ring doorbell device from outside Valdez's apartment. According to the reported affidavit, Perales later told police he moved it inside. Why that matters? Video doorbells and exterior cameras can be critical in establishing who approached a home, when, and what happened around an entryway. If a device is moved or disabled, investigators consider whether it affects the ability to verify a timeline. The affidavit summary described in reporting also mentions officers noting what they believed could be blood on a staircase, leading to the apartment tan observation that, in cases like this, typically leads to further forensic work and documentation. Thursday, December 4th, welfare checks, witness reports. Then a 911 call. Then comes Thursday, December 4th, a day with multiple developments described in local reporting. First, officers respond to information tied to the ongoing search. Witnesses experiencing homelessness tell police they are aware Valdez is missing and that Perales has been staying in different places. A witness describes a creekside encounter with Perales and says they saw something wrapped that appeared to be a body. Investigators respond, recover items of evidence in that area, and continue searching. But later that afternoon, police received the 911 call that would lead them to the location where Valdez's body is ultimately found. Local reporting describes a call placed around mid-afternoon, directing Westminster police to a park area near a creek reported as Willowbrook Park. The park is near schools, and officials say schools were placed into secure status while police worked. The affidavit summary described in reporting lays out what investigators say happened next. Officers secure the area, limit access, and follow a trail system into a wooded section. Their investigators report seeing a tarp arranged like a temporary shelter. Personal items nearby and a trash can partially covered. Officers lift the coverings and find a body inside. From that point, the scene becomes a forensic process, documenting the location, photographing, collecting items that may hold trace evidence, and coordinating transport of the body for examination. Investigators also begin the parallel work of narrowing who had opportunity and access, then corroborating or challenging what they're hearing from witnesses. Friday, December 5th, identification and arrest on Friday, December 5th. Reporting indicates the body is identified as Annette Valdez following an autopsy. The same reporting describes the coroner noting trauma to the neck area, while also stating that decomposition limited what could be determined publicly at that stage. That same day, police arrest Thomas Perales. Reporting describes officers locating him near a major highway corridor and taking him into custody after a brief pursuit. What investigators say, Perales told them after the arrest. Investigators interview Perales. What follows is drawn from reported summaries of the arrest affidavit statements attributed to the defendant that remain allegations unless proven. According to those reports, Perales told police he went to Valdez's home the night of November 27th and that they fell asleep. He said that when he woke up on November 28th, Valdez was injured, describing her as black and blue, and claimed he didn't know what happened. He said he attempted CPR and administered Narcan. Investigators also document statements about what happened next. The affidavit summary described in reporting says Perales told police he used a trash can, wrapping Valdez in a blanket, and moved her body out of the apartment. He claimed he didn't call police because he believed he would be blamed. In another portion of the affidavit described in reporting, investigators say Perales admitted that during an argument, he placed his hand over Valdez's mouth, removed it, and placed it back multiple times. Those details are presented in reporting as part of what police say Perales told them. They are not at this stage. A court finding. The moved 4 days allegation. A central allegation in this case is that Valdez's body was moved over a period of days before being left in the park trash can. National and local reporting cite witness accounts claiming they saw Perales moving what appeared to be a body wrapped in blankets. Some reporting also includes statements from the victim's family describing what they had been told, that Perales pushed the body around in a shopping cart to move it from place to place. Those accounts, as reported, remain allegations prior to trial. This is where investigators typically focus on corroboration, where those sightings occurred, whether any surveillance video exists nearby, what physical evidence can be tied to specific locations, and whether multiple independent witnesses describe the same sequence of events. December 10th, charges filed. Case moves into court by December 10th. Prosecutors formally file the charges. From there, the case enters the court process, hearings, evidence review, defense motions, and continued forensic work. The prosecution will be required to prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense will have the opportunity to challenge evidence and testimony. At the center of this, Annette Valdez, a mother whose family says they had long feared the outcome of a relationship marked by reported domestic abuse. This is general context, not a diagnosis of any person in this case. Public health guidance, including resources from the CDC, emphasizes that intimate partner violence is shaped by factors at multiple levels individual. Relationship, community, and societal and that prevention and safety often depend on coordinated systems, not a single intervention. Advocacy and safety planning resources also stress that leaving an abusive relationship can be complicated and, at times, dangerous, especially when there are ongoing contacts, shared children, unstable housing, or repeated violations of boundaries. Tonight, prosecutors in Colorado have filed first-degree murder and related charges against Thomas Perales in the death of Annette Valdez. The defendant is presumed innocent unless proven guilty, and the case now moves through the court system. If you or someone you know is experiencing relationship abuse, confidential help and safety planning resources are available in many countries and local communities. We'll continue following this case as it moves through court.